Hello, my name is Willie G, WGLands.com. We have the lowest price property in the Southern California market and beyond in the easiest owner finance terms. Today, I want to share with you my methodologies, how I go about valuing vacant land, and how I've done it so far. And it's worked well for me. Hopefully, you can take something out of it and apply it to your land investing or your land buying or whatever interest you have with land. So, WGLands.com is my site, and I was just looking at a market. Palmdale, and so on the bottom of the totem pole, the lowest price property, the crappiest of the crap, is the property without access. Property does not have any utilities, nothing running up to it, and does not have, like I said, does not have any sort of road. And when you get to that property, those are usually, so just looking at this market, I mean, I sorted this by low to high, and here are two glaring examples of property without access. They are the cheapest on the market, selling for $5,000 in Palmdale. So let's just look at a different market. Let's just go to 29 Palms. Just pull this up on Zillow. And how you want to do it, you want to sort by, I mean, if you're in here, just go to 29 Palms. If you're in Zillow, let's just start from scratch. Zillow.com. Let's go to 29 Palms. Show you how I go about it. And then you're here. And then you want to sort this by just land. I've already had it checked, everything else unchecked, because I'm only looking at land on Zillow. And then you want to go to more, you want to go to your acreage size, whatever you're interested in. And that's really all you need to do to get a comp set. This one, they've got 122 properties for sale that are between 3 and 10 acres. So yeah, usually the crappiest of the crap are on the bottom. I've sorted this by cheapest, and it goes more expensive. So you could get a sense of the median is probably on the second page, median price. And so how do you start adding value to land? How does land become more valuable? Well, the first thing is if there is a road up to it. If you have a road up to it, then the property is immediately significantly more valuable. You don't need to extend a road. If it has a county road, county maintained road is big because the county maintains it, and so it should be clear throughout the year. You should be able to drive it, have no problems with it. A lot of roads up to these properties, like this one, for example, is a perfect example. This is just a dirt road. This is not a county road. It's not labeled. It has nothing to it. Someone clearly just paved this road, or at least it looks that way. And so this isn't quite as valuable as having a county-maintained road up to it. So generally speaking, the way you know if it's a county road is if the road has a name. This road almost certainly does not have a name. I mean, if you go down here, let's scroll down. Here's good. You can see this map. You can see these road names. These are county roads right here. So if you have a county road, you can add a reasonable amount of value to it. You can find higher comps, and you won't compare your property to the properties that do not have road access to it. So that's number one. If a property has a road, add value, definitely. And the amount of value you'll have to compare to other properties with county roads up to them. The second thing is, if it has a road, so it has a county road, you've already determined that. Is it a paved road? So as you scroll down here, properties with paved roads certainly get more value. I don't know, you could at least add $5,000 to it, in my view, my opinion. So this one, I mean, looks like this is a county road, county paved road. You can see Hatch Road right here. I don't know where this property sits, but 3.271 acres, bunch of paved roads here. So this one would make a good comp. I guess here is the image of the property we should be looking at. So maybe it's right here off of this paved road. A lot of times, so when you're thinking about it, being off of a paved road, it doesn't just improve the value of your property. It improves the value of all the land around it, because every single road next to it is off of a paved road. And when your land is near properties that are more valuable, they have better access. People want the convenience of having a paved road next to their property. And when you're near properties that are more valuable, your property is automatically more valuable. So that's how I think about it. Add at least $5,000 to a property that has a paved road up to it. And then further than that, if a property has electricity is not cheap. A lot of my buyers go off the grid, and that is a much cheaper alternative. But if you have a power line running to your property, that is a significant increase in value. So if you have power even only a couple lots away, that dramatically increases the value compared to property that does not have electric in the vicinity. So you want a property that has electric at the property line or right nearby. A few lots down is fine. It'll dramatically increase the value. You can add, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 grand to a property that has electric to it. extending electric to a property can be as expensive as, I don't know, 50 grand, sometimes more. I mean, it depends on the situation. I mean, at that point, you're not going to, if you did like extend the electric line, you'd be improving the value to the neighboring properties as well. That's why a lot of times, your neighbors would be very inclined to kind of commit and have the electric line extended as well. They'd have some incentive. So, those three, having a road, a county road, a paved road, a maintained road, those are big advantages. And then having electric to the property is a huge value driver. And then other utilities, including water, gas, are also very important. Having a septic system on the property would increase the value dramatically. And those are a little less, I mean, you could always drill a well. I mean, wells could range sometimes, I mean, they could range from 10 to 50 and sometimes more, depending how deep the water table is. And septic can run you about 10 grand. From my experience, 10 grand is a good number for that. So it kind of varies. Gas, you could get propane. So there's alternative sources. You could live off the grid. You could find other ways. But it is better if you have city services. It is better if you have electric to the property line, that kind of thing. And that dramatically improves the value of the property. And what else do we have? So are there other things to consider when valuing a property? Is the property in an HOA? That could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. If it's in an HOA that's expensive, say it has $1,500 a year in HOA taxes, that is almost certainly a bad thing in my view. If it's only a couple $100s a year, but they maintain the roads, they do garbage pickup, they do snowplow service, snowplow removal, they maintain the roads, they do that kind of thing. It could be an added benefit. You kind of got to weigh the pros and cons to it, but make sure you're checking if it is an HOA. Most of the properties that I have are not in that kind of situation, but you do come across those kind of things. And then last thing I really want to talk about is zoning. Zoning of a property can tremendously improve the value of a property. If it's agricultural zone, that could be a benefit to someone who wants to have animals on the property, who wants to farm, but also have a residence. They want a homestead. In my view, agricultural zoning is a better zoning than residential because it provides similar allowability as residential, but more things you could do with it, including farming and having animals and homesteading, that kind of thing. And then a totally different kind of zoning is commercial, industrial, that kind of zoning. I don't really mess around with those properties, but just be aware of the zoning. The zoning could tremendously impact the value of what you can do on the property, and you want to be aware of that. It will impact what you can and cannot build and that kind of thing. And then I guess one more thing is location is unbelievably important. You need to take into consideration what's near the property. Are there schools? Are there supplies? Is there Home Depot? Is there a Walmart? Is there a Lowe's? Are there restaurants? Are there bars? Are there grocery? Are there gas stations nearby? The closer you are to these kind of amenities, the better you will be able to improve the value of your property, and the more the property will sell for. So you have to keep in mind where the property is in location, in proximity to other amenities that people would deem useful. So I don't get super in depth with that with the properties that I have. A lot of them are in rural areas. They have utilities like 10, 15 miles out, sometimes less, but 10, 15 miles is generally where you could find, I don't know, nearest major base of supplies and that kind of thing. And I'm trying to buy less of the properties that are quite a bit further out, like out in California City and some of the areas in Kern County. Those properties are a bit further, focus more on San Bernardino County, Los Angeles County, and in areas where there are more utility to the property, more usefulness to the properties. And so you have to adjust the value of the property based on, I mean, it's more of an art than a science. There's no specific number you can allocate to being 10 miles away versus 5 miles away from the nearest grocery store or gas station or that kind of thing. You just kind of have to keep in mind that it is more valuable. And you have to try to look at comps on the market when you're picking up a property. So we just looked at this one, but does this one is it off of a road? Is it off of a county road? Does it have electricity? What are they selling it for? So if you're selling this one, say it doesn't have electricity, it has a road, but it's not paved. You have to compare apples to apples. So just look at the comps. I mean, you can pick apart each one of these, see what features they have, and then compare the property that you're buying or selling in relation to that. There's not really that much more to it. It's not that complicated. You kind of just keep those considerations in mind and you should fare pretty well. And don't try to think too much into it. Don't overthink it. Just find like kind property. Here's one without access. I was just talking crap on access properties. Doesn't have any access. This guy's trying to sell 25 grand. In my view, this is pretty outrageous. But good luck to this guy. He is probably not going to sell it at this price. Let's see. Posted a couple months ago. No sale. 2 views in the last 30 days. I wonder why. So, yeah, that's it. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button as well. And comment if you have any other attributes, anything that you could think of that I didn't discuss. Or if you have any comments or questions for me just on this video or this topic, I'm happy to address. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day.